Hi everyone and welcome back. I hope you're doing really wonderful. Happy December. I'm so happy to be coming on and talking to you about Neptune. We have not made an individual Neptune video in quite a while, so this will be a fun little update here as well. I hope that you are doing well right as we are preparing. If you're attending the live premiere, the solar eclipse is indeed tomorrow, though you might not be seeing this video until after the eclipse on December 4th. I hope that it went well for you, and I hope that things are in one piece. I have a lot of exciting new intuitive messages to bring you in this video. If you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and thumbs up the video to get it out there. Leave me a comment as well if you'd like me to talk about any other transiting planets or any other topics you would like to be talked about on the channel. I'm very open to viewer requests, so comment below if you have any curiosity about anything happening in the sky right now. Also, before we get into the video, December readings are now available on Patreon. They are ad-free and have extended readings, and your one membership gets access to all of those, as well as weekly tea chats on Saturdays. So be sure to check that out below. We will be resuming the weekly tea chats starting on next week, so that will be really fun as well. This channel also has a presence on Discord if you are looking to get any extra community activity regarding these very exciting topics, and I will link that below too. So anyway, let's get straight into this video. So this is going to be a nice stream of consciousness. Because I've already made a December 2021 comprehensive astrology video, I'm going to be trying to really focus just on Neptune today, because I'm sure that we all have quite a good idea of some of the other transits going on in the sky, but you can check that video out. It'll be linked below and in the top right hand corner. Yes, so having a lot of moving parts is the main thing that I'm feeling about the energy activation happening with Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. So we had Neptune retrograde all the way back to 20 degrees, almost leaving the third decan of Pisces. So there would have been a feeling that some of the visions, some of the totalistic aspects of our lives, you know, looking at our lives in totality, seeing the macrocosmic effects of our experience, there would have possibly been feelings with this Neptune retrograde that there was a need to return back to an old way of doing something, or a need to re-implement an old kind of totalistic vision in our lives. And this is kind of, you know, hyper spiritual, hyper universal focuses that many of us stepped into under this last retrograde, and really, I mean, spanning over the last year and a half, specifically back to like September and October of 2020, actually, where I feel that a lot of us actually crossed into a new paradigm of purpose pursuit. And Neptune was involved with that, because when we have Neptune in its home sign of Pisces, this gives a universality, a oneness, a sort of, it has the effect of breaking boundaries and breaking that which prevents us from being in a certain place. There's kind of a very inclusive and merging oriented energy with Neptune and Pisces. And as it goes into its third decan, it is the most intense aspect of this. So over the rest of the duration of Neptune and Pisces, we are going to be taking it to the next level, really, in things relating to this. So understanding the universality of what we're participating in, understanding the long-term trajectory, understanding also the spiritual, the non-physical aspect of what we're in. For any of you doing very worldly things, like, for example, I don't know, things related to worldly energy like money, material, business, being involved in groups of people who are very focused on things that are real, or historical events, or anything that's completely tangible and defined. So any defined kind of precedented traditional grouping would be something that's challenged by this transit, and it's going to get more and more challenged as Neptune continues to go direct, as there's also a feeling that new layers are being created energetically with which people can come together. Neptune deals a lot with the movements of collectives of people, Okay, so as it goes direct into Pisces, there's going to be maybe new movements, or also, you know, if you think of like, this is just an interesting sort of manifestation, you know, as we went through the pandemic and everything, we were using Zoom and everything, and this was bringing a lot of people together. Even here on YouTube, as we're doing live premieres and on the Discord channel, this is a very, very good example of what Neptune and Pisces does. You know, we have people from all over the globe coming together under these connecting points, such as, you know, the Esoteric Sky YouTube channel, or you know, any other type of grouping. So these things are going to grow and grow and grow over the next few years before Neptune goes into Aries in 2025. So we have between now and 2025 to see a climaxing of this sort of unreal world generation. So, you know, as we're coming together here in this virtual capacity, it is creating a new world that is separate, and sort of a new dimension or a new reality that is separate from, you know, the world in which we individually go about our days, you know, driving our cars, filling up gas, going into our like day jobs, whatever it is. These are kind of like separate worlds, and Neptune and Pisces really creates new dimensions and new paradigms for these to live in. So as Neptune went retrograde over the last few months, as it was retrograde from June 20th until December 1st of 2021, this had the effect of kind of, I don't know, maybe making us feel like social media or these other more new age forms of reality generation were perhaps not out for our best interest. And we needed to kind of ground ourselves not away from them. We never want to feel like things are completely wrong or right when it comes to these types of things, you know, these like neutral tools such as social media, but certainly they can be harnessed in different directions. So this Neptune retrograde might have shown us some of the more negative harnessing of reality generators, such as social media, such as any type of camera-based or technologically based reality. So as it goes direct, we actually have the opportunity to make it a little bit more our own, or to work with it in a healthier way. So getting a healthier relationship with social media is important for a lot of people with Neptune going direct now. And it's important to think about, like, how much of my life do I want to be reliant on, you know, things like the internet, things like social media, things even like online banking, or some type of automated business type of tools. These are all, again, such powerful tools that it can go either way what our experience in conjunction with them are. And Neptune going direct here says to me that we haven't even seen the beginning of it. I think there's going to be a huge technological evolution happening between now and 2025. I think that we're going to have presence of, it's not just technology, but what it's about is it's about the generation of new types of reality, with Neptune at the most advanced place that Neptune can be in the last decan of Pisces, Pisces being the 12th and final sign of the zodiac, and the last decan of it being such a, it's like the true ending type of energy. So what it says to me is that it is eclipsing, okay, we're in eclipse season. Neptune going direct now indicates an eventual kind of eclipsing of old world dynamics. And I would say that there's a lot waiting in the wings, okay? So a lot of new conceptual grids being formed now. And I think that a lot of them are really helpful. Of course, nothing can be totally perfect, right? Like nothing can be completely identifiable as a positive or negative supplement into reality when you're talking about these higher level macro movements within the human experience as a whole. It's kind of like, what purpose is universality serving on Earth at this point in time? Is it kind of like a distraction from our own individual needs, wants, and connecting points? Or is it an open door to expand our horizons? It can be either way. And I think that we have to think about this really clearly. So when we're jumping out of our own experience and moving into these spaces where it's so collective, it's so bigger than the individual experience, what is our physical body feeling during that time? And do we feel that maybe having spent more time in these areas, do we feel that that has encouraged a positive body place? Like, is our physical body understanding what's going on? is this a good thing for our nervous system? We're going to talk a lot about that here in a minute as well. And, dreams, right? Neptune is the ruler of dreams, the ruler of illusions, the ruler of that which is not real. Okay, so we've got a lot of things happening as a lot of that which people are contributing their energy to during a time of Neptune and Pisces is not a real thing. Okay, so economically, currency is not a real thing, right? It's given value arbitrarily because it is deemed valuable. And then there are other autonomous events that contribute to whether that ends up holding up or not. But it's a lot like that. These are very fiat experiences that we have happening right now. Businesses that are being built right now might have absolutely nothing other than some type of visual experience behind them, like virtual reality businesses, tech businesses, things like that are becoming so dominant, have really nothing behind them. And how easy it is for them to just kind of become very distant at the end of the day from any type of real experience. So I would definitely take time, as this is stationing direct. So for really the rest of December, it's going to be really nice to think about substantive things. The positive is that we can really create new schemata with this transit, new concepts, new vastly intertwined things that create a larger type of universal core. Oh, it's so Neptunian. I love the downloads that come through, but it's a lot to process, and I understand it's very arbitrary. I will try to ground this down into a more feasible, individualistic human language here in a moment, though I don't know that it's possible with this particular transit, as I don't think it has much for those types of experiences. But basically, we kind of want to get it right as much as we can now that Neptune is going direct again back into the third decan of Pisces, and its further retrograde cycles I don't think will enter back into the second decan, as this one even itself did not quite get all the way back again. It went back to 20 degrees, so right on the cusp between the second and third decan. We want to get this sort of balance right starting now when it comes to how much of my life is an experience of technology and virtual reality, and how much of my life is real. This is kind of all about grid work, both, I suppose, physical and spiritual, but I'm really talking spiritually here. Thinking of themes like escapism via technology, escapism via news, escapism via the observance or the witnessing of another person's experiences through social media, and the energetic contribution to the building up of their sort of reality experience, and the first person experiencing by you of that becomes kind of automaton-like. There's something a bit robotic there, so forms of entertainment or forms of time passing becoming a sort of portal into passivity or becoming a portal into escapism is really the main human experience, I think, being generated here. And then we have people on the other side of it, the people who are, I suppose, producing or creating these experiences for others. And I've got to say that's an odd thing for them as well. And it's kind of I don't think that it's something that stokes a great mental health for people on either side of the equation. So whether it's the person observing and consuming that which is created by people on social media, or that which is created by people in any capacity to sort of be this kind of dynamic, I don't think it's good for people on either side of it. There are some people truly creating things that are valuable and substantive, and I always hope that I am doing that on my YouTube channel here, as I'm also in this experience myself as I do content creation as a career. So we just have to, I think, make sure it is very substantive, and we want to, I think, just maybe make dialogues about this sometimes. I really hope that all of you here who are watching my YouTube channel or are engaging in this content, I really hope that it doesn't, substitute the needed experiences for you in your own life. Like, I hope that, as much as I hope that this content can build you up and be there for you in your time of need and contribute something that helps you to, click things in your life, or helps you to heal even through your own capability within your experience, I would hope that it's not something that distracts you or keeps you from making like real progress in your life. Because at this point in time with Neptune here, we really have it in our own hands, right? Like, we can choose how much social media we engage with every day. We can choose how many videos on YouTube we're watching. We can choose to what degree we're procrastinating certain things in our lives. And that is a good thing. And that is not a super big guarantee for the future either, as I can feel how by the time that Neptune goes into Aries, there might be a complete stepping away, movements connected to stepping away from these mediums and getting back into our own experiences. So I, as a content creator, have to prepare for that. I mean, it's possible that some of these platforms could be completely, they're all, if they exist, they're going to have consumption in tie to their existence. But I think that it's going to deplete starting in 2025. And it'll probably build and build and build up until then. But I can see a paradigm shift potentially with Neptune moving into Aries that might really limit the consensus that a lot of what is here, or a lot of what is on some of these platforms, the consensus that they are something good or needed or relevant or real. So it's very delusional in a lot of senses. I mean, Neptune in Pisces is not a bad placement because Neptune, it's Neptune's home sign. It just means that we're dealing with the part of the human experience that is connected to, magic or, different types of reality experiences, which is very precedented and has been in effect for thousands of years for humans. I mean, humans have had shamanic experiences as far back as we can find sourcing for that. I mean, historically, that is the case, and I don't think that that's going to change. So this is kind of another evolution of that. But is there anything else I want to talk about in some of these very arbitrary conceptual Neptune direct in Pisces before I get more grounded and more individual with it? Basically, I would also pay attention to what is creating a loop. One interesting thing about this very aged and advanced Neptune in Pisces is that it's very hard to confine the energy of it. So this leads to people also living quite unconfined, undefined lives. So it can be particularly difficult to get a feeling of security or have that old school traditional experience of life, and that which we tie a feeling of, when I was young, I expected to live in XYZ way. A lot of those expectations, a lot of those security grids are being absolutely destroyed by this Neptune placement because they're so confining and they're so containing and they're so secure in a way. So they can't really thrive under a Neptune and Pisces experience. Neither can anything too extremely consistent or anything too extremely definable, okay? So that leads many people to be motivated to make very undefinable things in their lives. So undefinable businesses, undefinable and uncontainable relationships, not knowing what your relationship status is with someone, not knowing about the status of your projection to the outer world, not knowing your identity, not knowing anything, a complete state of confusion. And this isn't the type of confusion, that is so bad feeling. It's not like we have a few different types of archetypes relating to the word confusion. So we might primarily think of confusion as if I were to get a concussion, or if I were to suddenly be in a place that I've never been before, I would feel confused. I suppose that it can be that way for someone, but that's more of a debilitated Neptune energy. This type of confusion is more I don't understand the significance of this experience. I don't understand why I am where I am. I don't understand. It's like a very, even arguably healthy feeling of disorientation. Okay? So it's very hard to orient ourselves within a containable space. Very easy, to have agoraphobia or to have some type of difficulty and sort of endlessness within your perception of a contained space. And this should ultimately start to get better with Neptune moving direct again. We should start to be able to contain certain things better. We might just not be worried that much about it anymore either. Like, if you can imagine just being suspended in a very deep part of the ocean with no real, visual pointers, like just being in open water. How do you survive in a context like that? That's a lot of the energy that we're in. And a lot of this is kind of set up to just lead to the building of new structures for sure, but it's not really possible now, okay? Not until Neptune goes into Aries that's interesting to think about. Not until 2025 are like, there'll probably be like new architectures, new cities coming up and starting in 2025, like new, completely new structured and humanistic experiences. But now it's just about this sort of void space and understanding the part of the human consciousness that needs that type of experience as well, as we can't just always be colonizing this place here. On Earth. We sometimes also have something outside of this dimension that comes in. So, alien life, things like that. That's a rabbit hole, but it is part of the Neptune and Pisces experience as well. And also us coming like past the Earth plane as well. So new levels of space exploration and things like that coming in, new levels of oceanic exploration that should be conceptualized at this point in time and being actually pioneered by people when Neptune goes into Aries. So it's just kind of a dialogue for you about where we're kind of at a macrocosmic level, and why also you might be feeling like some of the more mundane aspects of your life, like the status of your like floors in your house, or the cars that you're driving, or the relationships one-on-one with you professionally or romantically or family-wise in your life. That could all feel very like just not even activatable, not even experienceable, because things have become so macrocosmic. It's very difficult at this time to have these kind of grounded and one-on-one smaller human experiences. In some cases, the doors just are not open. You might find yourself going into the service industry, needing something like, needing a lawyer, needing a realtor, needing a doctor, needing some of these like grounded human things. And it just might not even be there. Okay, there's a feeling of being in the ocean, and there's a feeling of us having to swim ourselves, isn't there? But then we all get a little bit nervous about undertaking that, and it's understandable why. So let's segue now into some of the more individualist approaches that I think will help us to navigate this time, because this is not a bad thing, but it is kind of like frightening for people, especially people who are like afraid of heights, people who want to be like tucked away safely into their homes, people who want to be kind of sheltered, which is like 99% of people. Those people are challenged by this energy because it's hard to really have that containment at all. And when we're trying to force that containment under this energy, we can start to even be like walking around our own houses feeling like agoraphobic, or feeling like it's too big, or it's too like we need to downsize it, or we need to minimize it, to kind of push through this false feeling of containment that is securing, the feeling of security. I will also say it's very easy, as we tend to compensate as people, we tend to offset things in the state of this freedom, okay, that Neptune in late Pisces truly is. It becomes very easy also to invite oppression, or to invite by accident some type of containment process that gives a false sense of security. So that's the biggest threat of this transit, but it's not really, I don't know if it's something that any one person can prevent, but if we can become comfortable with the swimming process, if we can become comfortable with self-reliance, self-employment, self-actualization, then this energy can be pretty unlimited, actually. And I mean, I'm sure many of you are already seeing this. I'm sure many of you are already seeing like how quick things manifest and how like pretty much any door for self-actualization is open. However, the helpers or the experts within that process may not be available. So this becomes a very kind of like high stakes and also boundless and infinite type of experience. And it's, I suppose, what we've all chosen to incarnate into, isn't it? But you know, again, thinking more individualistically, I just have a list of a few things to talk about here before we wrap up. So more clarity is likely as Neptune goes direct in Pisces. I mean, it's never going to be totally clear with Neptune being in that sign, and it's not meant to be. There's meant to be an evolution and a strengthening through a lack of clarity or through a state of not knowing. Interestingly, one thing that I have written down here is handwriting. Okay, so bear with me here. I know it's kind of like random sounding, but you might practice like handwriting or anything that is more hand-based to ground you into the current reality. Cooking, handwriting. I'm feeling also technology and not needing to do things ourselves at this point in time, not needing to write by hand, not needing to cook our own meals, not needing to in some cases clean our own houses, is leading us to be very ungrounded and unanchored. And our hand-eye coordination is probably only existing in conjunction with a technological device. So that is leading to probably to all kinds of neurological problems. You know, the body-brain connection, right, seems to me to be very divided as these new levels of consciousness are coming into activation. So thinking of the nervous system and thinking of new ways to calibrate it could be a great area of progress. Neptune going direct in Pisces here. Intuiting new ways that are maybe just personal to you about like, okay, this is how I calibrate, coordinate, and resurface my nervous system. How beautiful. Okay, maybe we all need to start cooking more, or we all need to start doing more things with our hands, okay? More things with the body and less things with the mind. Do you guys notice at the end of this Neptune retrograde and also with these previous eclipses we had that it's not a good feeling to be in the mind all day, that it's not a good feeling to be trying to channel all of this energy with mental activity, so writing, reading, researching things, anything from, you know, your technological device, anything like that. It has to be offset with some kind of physical channeling. It's really important to offset this, okay? Also, there's a tendency, I think, as Neptune goes direct here in Pisces to create new trends or to create new spaces even. So it could be really interesting to maybe not be going by the set trends for like hairstyles or set trends for certain styles in general. Could be good to get out of. And there's also a likelihood of being completely out of any type of status quo or completely out of any trend, set of trends. And that's kind of interesting for me to see, you know, if you look back even just like, I mean, this kind of started in the 1990s, but before then you had very uniform trends. Regardless of what those trends were, there was a uniformity to the way that most people in most cultures were exhibiting, okay? And now that uniformity is kind of being broken here, and that is leading to a new level of uniformity that is being represented by these AI technology devices, right? And so we have a uniformity in the fact that we're all holding these smartphones, or we're all like holding, but these are nonetheless things outside of ourselves. It's not so much in our own personal expression that uniformity is existing now. So I think that that's a good thing, but I also think that we need to maybe have a separate room in our house just for the technology, or we need to be able to get away from it too, because it's really, really imposing itself on our lives, isn't it? And the convenience of it is very attractive for a lot of people. But, you know, the main thing that I want to communicate with Neptune going direct here in Pisces is that it's unlikely that things will be completely defined, contained, or obvious. Okay? So if we're having any crises in our lives regarding, identity, definition, clear-headedness, that crisis is not an indicator of like less or loss or error. It's more of an indicator of a need to expand or contribute differently to your experience. So this is a type of transit where artists, for example, really thrive, where, and that's also one thing really propping up social media, I'll tell you, are artists and, independent creators, right? Like those are the people who are facilitating that construct. So those people really thrive as well with Neptune and Pisces because there's a craving for something out of a defined subset of known creative methods. What's important with this is to maybe allow your own artistic development to be the real way forward here. And I mean, this can start to break the boundaries of what we think of as art. So for some people, they have these containers, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's, science, even in some capacities, or writing or philosophy, whatever it is. These can be arts, right? I would say that there will be new arts coming through. I would say that there will be also new levels of artistic expression in means that we did not expect. And I think that everybody's kind of compelled at this time by this energy to understand what their greater artistic expression might be, and to not get too stuck on the black and white details, though they can't be completely ignored. This isn't like a free invitation to not have any type of structural clarity in your life. I think we've all been striving for it, and I think a lot of us are very tired of not being able to seemingly possibly even have it because of this. But if there's any of this confusion, if there's any of this kind of boundlessness in your experience, enjoy, just maybe thinking about all of the doors that are open or all of the ways that you can move forward. Because by 2025, long-term messages, it's a Neptune video, why not? That open-endedness will start to subside just a little bit. And yes, we'll have a lot more clearness about how to define things, how to contain things, how to step into new paths and go through that, but it's not going to be so ultimate. We have this Jupiter moving into Pisces soon as well, which I'll make a video about at the end of this month. Ultimate cause, every open door, free movement through these experiences and through these possibilities. If we can kind of get out of the hyper sort of obsessive compulsive need to define it all, we can actually get where we want to be. And that can be kind of scary for a lot of people to experience as well. As you perhaps have a complete change of field or a complete change of life, there's an acclimation process, isn't there? It's not a matter of just like getting there and like, yay, I've got everything figured out now. There's always a learning curve. So try to enjoy, if you can enjoy the process of a learning curve, I mean, you can do great with the continuance of this transit. And I will say that there should be a lot of solutions for confusion and a lot of open doors to create really the most resonant reality for yourself. So enjoy that, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this very arbitrary channeling about Neptune and Pisces. It could not be any other way, being that Neptune is in the third decan of Pisces and will be for, I suppose, the next 4 years. So let's enjoy it, everyone. And thank you so much for being here on my channel. I want to make one announcement before we conclude. Okay, December 17th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I'm having the live premiere for the 2022 year ahead forecast. I'm going to be talking about every single sign, and we're going to be having a wonderful time. Okay, it's probably going to be the highlight of this live premiere season, so I hope that you will all mark your calendars. I will be making a community post with hopefully every single time zone on the planet for which you can plan around if you would like to come and you're not sure about what it is in your time zone. As yes, I'm very happy to say that this YouTube channel has a viewership from each inhabited continent. So I'm hoping to provide you all in the community tab, and that might already even be available by the time this is premiering, but it will be available soon. I want to provide you all with time zones, and that will work well for the future because I don't plan to do live premieres at any other time other than 6 p.m. Pacific time on Fridays. So that will be happening on December 17th. Also hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. And on Patreon, yes, are the December readings and a lot of bonus content. I also have an Amazon storefront as well where you can get some stuff that I recommend. It's a great way to support this channel too, and I get a lot of questions about that as well. So that's linked below. And have a wonderful, wonderful time of Neptune direct. I hope you are all excited. Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye.